right, everybody. Good morning, Royal Palm.
Nice. It kind of rhymes.
Wow,
Very
it
similar.
does. I just thought of that. Welcome back to a lifetime of conversations.
We are back.
We are back and better than ever.
It's like we never really leave.
No, we don't really. We just kind of lock ourselves in this room, and we have food delivered.
It's really smelly in here. Anybody got any DO out there?
Oh man. So
All right,
anyway,
Robert, so what do you got today?
I heard the story about this girl and this guy. They were talking online and for like a week or so, something like that, and they wanted to go on a date and they were going to meet up. So the guy's getting ready to go to the house. He pulls up. He's pulling up to the house, and apparently the girl got cold feet. She was nervous. She changed her mind. She didn't want to meet him. Okay. So what would a normal person do?
I don't know. Leave?
No. She's home. She's at her house. He's on the way over.
A normal person, you explain just that?
Yeah. Just say, do you know what? I
hey,
text
it's a little
him.
early. It's kind of quick. Maybe we're rushing into it. Let's chat a little bit more, or
No, not her. She calls the police and says that her crazy ex-boyfriend is coming over and he's threatening to kill her. She's pregnant with his baby and all this other stuff. So the police come over.
Oh my God.
And the guy, the girl didn't come out or whatever. So the guy's like, what the fuck? So eventually he leaves and the cops catch up with him and pull him over.
Right.
And then, and they're starting to question him, and, they're, like, nervous about this guy, And
right.
The guy's like,
what the giving false information.
The guy's like, what the hell is going on here? So he eventually shows the police the thread of text messages, how they've been, that he doesn't know her and this and that. So they eventually go, they arrest the girl, and they charge her with a couple of, little things, nothing too serious.
Making false statements and wasting police time.
I think they should throw her in jail for a year. That is messed up.
I guess. See, but then most of that stuff goes on the point of like, does he want to press charges?
Yeah.
Or like for for slander or defamation of character or whatever, like some bullshit like that. I mean, really? Like, is that where we're at? Like a week, and you made up this diatribe of a story that is clearly provable as not true, which is even more bizarre.
And he was abusive to her.
I think he dodged a bullet.
Oh, you're damn right he dodged a bullet. But he might not have dodged a bullet if the confrontation with the police would have went differently.
Oh, sure. So in the video game world, she swatted him in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like a reverse swat, maybe?
Yeah, whatever. Or like the idea that but why? See, this is why would you go that far?
She was like 18, very immature, I guess. So maybe she didn't know how to.
Yeah, but even at 18, you added. I don't know. Doesn't it take more to add that much than it would be to not?
Yeah.
Like at that point, you had to come up with all that stuff. Like,
this bitch has to be crazy.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. He dodged a bullet. Swipe left on that motherfucker. I mean, yeah, that's pretty wild.
But stuff like this happens all the time. I mean, and unfortunately,
I guess, but it's always happened. Yeah. I guess just how did you hear about it?
On the radio.
On the radio.
Yeah, I listened to
the radio.
The radio is this little thing
that
they
FM AM thing.
Yeah, for some reason they still put them on.
That
cars.
I always turn off when my wife uses the car because I only put on my Bluetooth.
Yeah. But I mean, I could listen to it on the internet too. On real radio.
Absolutely.
But it's still commercials.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's a talk radio show, so there's still going to be commercials.
To radio. What are we? A talk radio show.
Yeah.
Except our radio is just a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And only 25 people listen to it.
Yeah, and if you drive under a bridge, we don't go away.
Yeah, it's true. Satellite somehow will work under the bridge, but yet radio doesn't.
Yeah, because there's kids out there going,
that is funny.
What do you mean it goes off under the bridge? Now, did you remember like when you were a kid?
I'm losing connect.
Like when you live in New York and like you're listening to a song that you like and you go under a bridge and it shuts
tunnel,
off.
Or even the tunnel, that long tunnel.
Yeah, the tunnel.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
it's not that long, but it's enough where you're just gone.
So I used to challenge myself. I would keep singing the song and see when I pulled out if I was in the right spot.
Close, yeah. I am good.
No, not even close.
You're a bad memo. Wait, what?
Yeah, a different song it's on or something.
It's funny.
Yeah, but they always believe. I mean, I'm not trying to start anything, but they always believe the woman.
It's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
Except, okay, and if he was actually her boyfriend and there was long-term, like, something or other, there might have been stock in that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's clearly all wrong.
Yeah, they
right
never even
at that
met.
point, because even if they interview her and she's gonna admit it, right? Because the pressure is gonna. If you're an 18 and you already made up this ridiculously, like, horrible story, you're gonna admit it, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, you can go, sir. Do you want to press charges? No. Like, I'm deleting and blocking her number forever.
Yeah.
Right. I don't. This is where I guess in some ways you would have more to say in this than I ever would. I've been married over 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm in a cave
Right.
when it comes to anyone else.
Yeah, but
and
you're
something-
lucky.
I'm fine with that. I'm happily married.
Yeah,
I
you're
love
lucky.
my family.
You
But
don't have to deal with this
I
shit.
always think of that because my wife will say, we always joke with each other, and it's like, I'm like, I'd love to try a dating app. I'll find some bitch that loves video games and doesn't want to go fucking walking around the block and like dumb stuff just to to poke at her. But I have no idea. I don't even. I couldn't even imagine.
Well,
by the time like she dies or divorces me, I'm gonna be like 70, and at that point, if it doesn't have dust on it, I'm banging it. So.
That's very ambitious, I gotta say.
Right. Hey, listen. Yeah.
Wow.
But I have no idea what though. I do think though. I like to think like, what would it be like to use like you have to literally it's like a resume to date. In a way, because you put in all your likes, and now of course you can change things and whatever. But if you really wanted something real, you'd want to be as real as possible, so you didn't get the crazy bitch who fucking got cold feet and tried to have you arrested.
God, that's terrible.
It's crazy.
When I'm 70, I'm gonna be banging everything that doesn't have dust on it. So when you're walking around the mall, you see a 10-year-old kid, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck you when my wife
Okay,
dies.
All right, easy there, Bronco.
I'll see you when I'm 70.
Oh my God. No, like these days I like my women like wine.
Yeah.
Aged, matured.
Oh, I thought you meant stuffed in a bottle with a cork in the top.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you're into. Sounds like a Saturday night to somebody.
Yes. Anyway, so this radio show that I listen to, every day they do Florida stories, and that was one of the Florida.
I could keep them going for fucking decades.
Yeah, and they do. I mean, they were talking about these two girls that got these lottery tickets. I believe they were scratch-offs. I don't know exactly how this works, but obviously the tickets weren't winners. So they cut these tickets in half, and they like glued them together to make it look like they won like $50,000 or some ridiculous amount of money.
Okay, yeah, right.
And then they go to the lottery office, and the guy's like, the guy that worked there, I think it was Butthead. He was like, no.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely got laughed at. I mean, wouldn't there be serial numbers on the other side of something that doesn't match right? There's barcodes and serial numbers. Like, what year do they think they're in?
Yeah. What do you think?
This is gonna work?
I don't know. They got in trouble for it. They didn't.
Yeah.
Really, they got in trouble for it. They're dummies.
I mean, most of that shit doesn't really ever go anywhere, but it's like someone's got to just stick their finger in their face and yell at them and wave around like a child because you're like, what is wrong with you?
If you want to steal, do a better job.
Right, like get good. What world do you think that's going to work?
Yeah. I mean, look, I have no problem with stealing. That's how everybody not everybody that's rich, but I mean, that's what the mafia did. The government steals. Yeah. The government steals.
I guess the definition
crazy.
of steal. Most, what's funny? Because most people had the issue. It's not that you steal; it's who you steal from. Right? That's always the case.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you stole it from the old lady who's on like rent control, it's like you're a horrible, wretched person and is going to spend all eternity in hell. If you stole from the corporation, everyone's like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about."
Stick it to the man.
Right? You steal from the government; it's relatively the same thing. Even though the government is both something like a corporation and you're stealing from me. If you take from the government, you're stealing from every American who pays taxes, right? In one shape, way, or form. Even if the government's the one doing the stealing. Doesn't matter. They're taking from us.
I look at it differently.
Whatever, man.
Suppose in my lifetime, let's just say I paid $40,000 in taxes.
Right.
And I stole something from the government that was worth $40,000. I'm not stealing anything from you. I'm getting a refund.
Right.
I got my money. I got my money back.
Yeah.
I broke even.
And plus, if you stole something like 40,000, what was that? Like a toilet seat cover? Like what was that you stole for 40K? It was probably like a monitor for like a computer screen from 1997.
Right.
And the green screen.
that makes beeps.
When the vertical hold goes, you have to bang the side of it to get it to stop moving.
God, yeah, I remember when you had to dial in the television to.
I haven't heard. And it's funny because I probably should, and I think it would be entertaining. Florida stories would be fun because
Oh yeah.
This place is crazy. I love it here, but It is a little crazy.
This place is nuts.
I don't think it's any crazier than anywhere else. It's a different kind of crazy. That's
because
all.
everybody from everywhere else comes here.
Yeah, but
so
so
they
does
all
New
bring
York.
their crazy with
But
us.
so is New York. Like I've spent a lot of time in New York City and New York in itself, and it's a crazy place to live, but it's a different kind of crazy. And I don't know if I'm being biased because I'm a New Yorker at heart, but if I were to go, like, looking at what's happening now in New York is insane. It literally is
bad.
crazy with all the
Very bad.
I mean, the theft and the oh my god, the shoplifting thing is so fucking ridiculous. It really is. Like,
Well, they let them get away with it.
anything under $1,000, they're just like, oh yeah, you can go.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, you're free to go.
I mean, that was definitely not the
Don't
case.
forget to vote.
Right.
Whatever.
I mean, the housing market. It's a shame. And actually, I watched this one YouTube guy who posts strictly about New York, and he's a real estate agent who kind of goes into apartments and shows how the inflation of prices is up, but he does a lot about New York itself. He's a little over the top, but it makes me sad. I put a comment saying, like, it's sad to see the city I love and the state I was born be so downtrodden, like running out of money, like gouging the people of New York, like the New Yorkers. Like, one thing in New York, gouge the fucking tourists, man. Gouge the foreigners. And I'm not trying to state that as like if you moved here and became a citizen and I live in New York, you're an American citizen living in New York. I'm talking about diplomats, tourists, foreigners who come here to visit the greatest city on earth.
Right.
You know?
Well, I mean, New York City was dangerous when we were kids.
Yeah, but it was, but then it tapered down. It definitely got, and I remember that too.
Well, do you know when it tapered down?
Giuliani.
Yeah,
right around
absolutely. He cleaned up that city. He made
But
it one of the safest cities in the
It was
country.
an iron fist, and it's kind of what it needed.
Yeah,
Now it went back to the way it was in the 70s, but not the same way. It's
just more corrupt.
Yeah.
I mean, Giuliani had to do it that way. He can't walk up into New York City and be like, okay, here, kitty, kitty, kitty,
I thought it was bad after 9/11 when, they had like armed guards at Penn Station.
Yeah.
And shit. And we were like, wow, it's crazy. Now the National Guard is guarding subways just because. Because people are pushing people on tracks because they think that's fun. Again, that stuff always happened before, but I think, is it that it happened more, or we just hear about it faster?
We hear about it faster.
You can't tell. Like, without proper statistics,
Yeah.
and you'd have to really have those, you wouldn't really know if there's any more or less when it comes to this stuff.
Well, everybody takes all these crimes and they use it to politicize stuff.
Yeah.
So they can't wait to get it on TV fast enough.
When he goes into like CVS's and stores and he shows prices and it's like $10, $12 for a stick of deodorant, and I'm like, what? Like, I'm getting it's literally double the price. Like, I get mad when I'm like, it goes above $4.89. When I gotta get deodorant, I'm looking at that like $12. Are you insane? That's crazy.
And what are you going to do about it?
Nothing. Like, you could order online, I guess, but even then, you deal with package thieves and what floor do you live on? Like, people don't realize that. Like, with New York, it's a big difference. I live on a third floor here in an apartment, and then, like, my wife complains. I'm like, it's only 3 flights. Think about if we lived on the 16th floor. That's why I never understood the penthouse thing. Why would you want to live all the way up there? That's got to be ridiculously inconvenient to do anything. To get groceries, to, like,
You have
go
your own
home,
private
you have to
elevator,
wait.
usually.
What's that?
You usually have your own private elevator. If you
No, I
live on
get
a
all that,
penthouse,
but still, you have to, like, get in the elevator.
Yeah.
Like, all the way up to, like, the 77th floor. Okay.
It's a status thing.
I guess. I don't know, but definitely not a convenience thing. But anyway.
It's like driving a nice... Well, speaking of nice cars, there was this guy... there was a company, and they were flatbedding a Rolls Royce somewhere. And somebody somehow got a hold of the driver's phone number and texted him, change of plans, deliver the Rolls Royce here. This is another one of the stories.
I know.
So this guy ended up getting this Rolls Royce. I mean, he got busted or whatever, but they're thinking it's an inside job. How does he get the driver's cell phone number?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's ways, but...
How do you know this guy's going to be...
Right. Either way, I would believe it's got to be premeditated.
Of course.
In the sense that you had to maybe you could have found the guy before, or had him fill out a survey, or I don't know. Maybe it's on his Facebook page and you don't even fucking know it. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
It asks for your number. I don't know if I put mine on there. I don't think it's necessary.
No, you don't have to
Why
put-
does anyone need this if I didn't give it to you? You can just Facebook message me. You don't need a number for that.
What's on your mind? I'm delivering a Rolls Royce tomorrow.
But even
See
then-
profile.
I get it, like it's my job and I don't really care and it's not my Rolls Royce, but you're delivering a Rolls Royce. You don't just like answer the first text, like bring it to the seedy neighborhood. No, just park it next to the cinder blocks.
Yeah. Yes,
Like-
sir.
Absolutely. And then your hands out for a tip. You know, like, what?
Yeah, there was another one where these Amazon packages were getting stolen, but not all of them. Just the good ones with like 6 cell phones in the box.
Right. How do you know that? Like, you have to know that. Someone has to
Yeah,
know
someone
that.
had to know that.
Has to know that.
It's another
Because
inside
otherwise,
job.
it's just it could be, I don't know, like a shelf or like a
Yeah, it could be.
physics toy, like one of those clacker ball things. Like, I don't need this, but I could use 6 brand new,
Yeah,
unlock cell phones. That'd be great.
yeah. Or the lid for the crock pot that you broke last week.
Right?
You know,
Yeah, the replacement part for this.
What the
stupid
hell is
little
this?
thing. I don't need this.
Like that store. You ever go to bin deals?
No.
Okay, so everything that gets, well, not everything, but a lot of stuff that gets returned to Amazon goes to this store. And it's open, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The first day you go there, everything is $5. You don't know what's in the box. It's just Amazon stuff.
Oh,
you don't
it's
know.
like, yeah, it's like the storage unit where you buy it and you don't know what's in it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, I mean, you can pick the box up. Sometimes you know what it is. Sometimes you don't. Some people have, like, Amazon app. I have the Amazon app on my phone, and if you scan the
You can
barcode,
scan it?
it'll tell you. And then the next day, so all the good shit goes away on the first day. The next
Sure.
day, everything is $4. The day after that, 3, 2, and then I think,
Yeah,
the last day, everything is $1.
And they let you use the scan app? Because I feel like that would...
I don't know if they let you. I mean, people do it.
I feel like that would kind of goes against the whole point of the nondescript brown packaging.
Yeah, exactly.
But, okay.
I mean, I've heard people getting like PlayStations and Xboxes for $5.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend got a bunch of stuff there. I mean, one of them, like, do you know those chandeliers like that hang on the ceiling, like the cheap ones, and they have like the plastic-looking diamonds?
Yeah.
that they're plastic. I got a bunch of replacement ones of those in the garbage with those. I'm like, shit. It's like a losing lottery ticket, basically.
Yeah,
That's what it
basically.
was. I should have glued it to something else.
You know
and
what's
brought it.
funny? On a side note of the Xbox, when the Xbox Series X came out, which is a new console, I had, I bought it from Microsoft. Like, this is like when we could finally get it because there was a shortage for chip shortage after COVID, and literally it came out 2
yeah,
years
that's
before,
right.
and I couldn't get my hands on one. But everyone who bought them was selling them at exorbitant prices, right? Like $700, $800. It's $499. That's what it costs, right? So I went to Microsoft when they finally opened up sales, ordered it, paid for it, right? I've been saving the money for years, waiting for the delivery. Says it was delivered. Don't get my Xbox. Now it's a $500 piece of equipment, and plus I've been waiting years for it. I call this. It says it was delivered, blah, blah, blah. So it's like I thought someone stole it from my door. Because I never really had that issue before. It's nowadays it's so ubiquitous that everyone gets stuff delivered. We have cameras too, but I ended up making a police report. Like, guy came and everything to make the report. Oh yeah, it's $500, and I'm like, I don't know if there's cameras in the building, but the company, the building owners won't let us. They will only release camera footage to police. So I was like, just in case, inadvertently, and I did all this just for safety. So that I can say I did these steps.
Right.
I know I'm going to get either another Xbox or my money back. It's not like I didn't get the Xbox, right? But it just ended up being where some guy brought it to the wrong address.
Really?
That's what here's the air quotes, told me.
Oh, wow.
But if you know something is something, like you said, if you know it's an Xbox and you know that this is the first time that we're getting them, it could have been an inside job. Package guy could have just pocketed it or tried to pocket it.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just an event. They sent me another one. Took another week later. I didn't really care, but it was the first time I've ever had to do that it just so happened to be the most important thing in the world to me.
Right.
My fucking Xbox, goddammit. Well, any video game, but still.
Did you ever see this guy? This is several years ago. This guy was like 21 years old, like something like that. Young kid, good looking kid. He had a good job. He's like an engineer and all this stuff. He has a lot of shit going for him, and he was like pissed off at these porch pirates. So he built this little box.
A glitter bomb?
Yeah, you saw that with the fart spray?
Yeah, I mean, there's a million glitter bombs, but I think they're all been put into the glitter bomb, whether it's a glitter bomb or not. Man, you imagine back in the day with those those little glass vials we'd get as stink
Oh,
bombs.
yeah. At the hardware store.
They were so potent.
Yeah.
You know, if you could find a way to get that to work. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sulfur.
And that's the shame that no one's going to do anything about the porch pirating except you having a ring cam or you know, footage that you can prove. And then at least you can get their face and they can be put, you know, you can give
Unless
it.
they're wearing a mask.
They're not going to do a whole lot about it. But I love the fact that people take it into their own hands. You know, in a way that doesn't hurt them.
Right.
You know,
it's just
because
embarrassing.
Yeah. It's at that point, you know.
You get sprayed with fart spray. Yeah. The guy bought the finest glitter in the world. So it's impossible to get it out.
Oh, you mean fine, like
yeah,
fine,
like the
small.
smallest.
Okay, he paid like for the finest glitter.
It was like
handmade
smaller
by
than sand.
Small children in Indonesia.
All right, get
with
me my
tiny
scissors.
little scissors. Yeah.
Indonesia is always the answer in trivia if you don't know. If they're asking you about a country,
I don't know.
Indonesia is always the answer.
It's like music. My dad, like, it was always, you know who sings this, David? I don't know, the Bee Gees. He's like, no. And then the one time I don't say the Bee Gees, it was the fucking Bee Gees. And he's like, the one time you don't say the Bee Gees, it's actually the Bee Gees.
Oh, man, how
and I'm
can
like,
you not?
the whole point of saying the Bee Gees is to say, like, I don't care who this old person is singing.
See, I would know all of them.
No, you were really good with music.
Yeah, like
I know the song, but I don't know the artist.
Yeah, in that show Fallout, I knew a lot. A lot of the music was like B-side kind of stuff.
Yeah, it
like
was like
oddity. Some of the stuff I definitely knew, but some of the stuff I knew the artist when I heard them. But
Step into the Fallout, baby.
Yeah,
I love that. That's one of my favorite of all the songs.
Yeah.
It's classic. You know,
and it wasn't like one of the hits, but it fit in with the motif of the show.
Yeah, but this is also the same music they've been using for decades.
Oh, in the video.
Yes, like they've had this music. I mean, maybe some of them were introduced in Fallout 4, but Fallout 3 had a similar version of those types of songs. Mm-hmm. Mostly 50s, 40s, you know, 30s, late 30s into the mid 50s, I would say. You know, but it's cool. I know. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh no, it was good. And, did you hear about the lady? This is in Florida. This is a long time ago. Something happened with her order at Wendy's. She was really upset. So she goes back to the drive-thru and she throws an alligator into the drive-thru window.
Yeah. I think actually I did hear about that. And then literally, like, the first thing I think of is only in Florida.
Yeah,
Like, because even, like, there are gators in Louisiana, but they didn't do that. No. You know? But if it happened in Florida, people go, yep, probably,
Yeah, like the guy that was on bath salts and
like, first you got to get the gator. That means you have to go out and find a gator.
Right.
Or did you just have it in your car? Like, were you waiting?
And you have to explain to the gator to calm down because this is going to be really cool.
This is for a greater cause.
And then once you talk him into it, and he's calm and docile in your arms, he's like, all right, I've never been in a Buick before, but let's just go with this.
I came across one at work the other day, and it was like 4.5 feet. And, you know, it's big enough to go, I'm not messing with that thing.
Yeah.
And I have to call, somebody to come and get it. And it's like, and by the time they came, it was gone. And they're like, well, where did it go? I'm like, it probably climbed the fence. I said, what did you want me to do? I'm only supposed to report this. But I'm not going to do it. It's a 4.5-foot gator. What do you want me to do? Ride it
it's not going to kill me.
Steve Irwin?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not losing a finger.
Crikey, it's gorgeous.
And I love the gators. If it was a baby, sure, I'd just, run up, grab it by the back of the neck, hold on to the tail, and great, throw it in a fucking pond. Yeah. 4.5-foot gator, I'm not losing a finger.
Yeah.
Or a wrist or a hand.
It's not going to kill you, but it'll ruin your day.
No, yeah. And then my company would be like, why did you even touch it? Now we won't cover your medical costs, right?
Well, because last time I pointed with my nub and I said he went that way, and they weren't happy with that explanation. So
yeah. See, now it's like, okay, that happened. Like, again, how did they get it? Like, because even capture, that's what was my point of that, is it's not easy to just capture a gator.
Dave,
even a baby.
Yeah.
You have to be where baby gators are. And then how did you get... Did you go out and specifically find this gator to throw at this person, or was it just happenstance,
Dave, when you're angry and you're high on crystal meth, anything is possible.
Well, that's okay. Maybe she was high, and maybe it wasn't even a gator. Maybe it was like it was a basilisk lizard, and no one thought it was a gator.
A basilisk. They throw the thing through the window. Everybody's like, Jesus Christ! And he's like, indeed, here I am in the flesh.
And he ran across the fire oil and just went home.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know what that means, a basilisk is called a Jesus Christ lizard because he could run across water.
I don't agree with the name, but I mean,
Oh, well,
It's
you
just
know,
a
it's
bachelor.
it's whatever. It's funny.
It's one of many.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyway.
we've mentioned them before.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Funny. I don't have any Florida stories.
Oh God, there's
Lately,
so many.
I mean-
Yeah. Well, we could think of some. Maybe next
I mean,
time.
you're the resident Florida resident. I'm
Well,
like
so are you.
yeah, but I'm like the new Florida resident, even though I know enough. And I'm not really anywhere. Even living in Pennsylvania 15 years, I was never a resident. I just lived there for 15 years. Like I was never going to be part of the Pennsylvania community. I was never going to like join the PTA. I was just no. You're lucky I live in your state. In the middle of
You're
these
lucky.
woods. Yeah, like you're lucky we're giving you revenue and taxes just by living here.
So you weren't gonna go live amongst the Amish?
No, that's Lancaster.
That's
They
like
live in a certain place. Yeah. We were just in the woods.
it's amazing how they still live like that in this day and age.
Noble. Good for you. I think it's nice that they're allowed to to live like that.
Right.
Right. Like not that they're allowed, but that they're still able. There will be a point where all that's going to come to an end. Well, no, I don't think that's true either.
Yeah, the government's gonna come up to them. All right, you guys aren't paying enough.
No,
taxes.
it's not even that. I think it's just the fact that like eventually you'll be forced because like even them they have to have the internet and cell phones. I don't think it's possible to even be a part of the United States anymore without it. Like you just like applying for Social Security, using websites, like you would have to have some sort of connection.
I don't think they have Social Security. They don't. Do they have jobs? They just tend the land and pretty much
They pay
live.
taxes. Do they live in the United States?
Yeah,
They pay taxes. That's it.
you only
So-
pay taxes if you have an income.
Yeah, but they sell stuff. Of course they sell stuff. They sell great wood stoves, and you got to see all the stuff they sell. Chairs and tables, handcrafted. And don't get me wrong, this shit is phenomenal. It ain't... You buy one of those things, and it's like, why does anyone shop at Walmart? Because you get that, prefabbed, folded cardboard crap that breaks down after 3 years. But that's why, you pay for handcrafted. But yeah, they sell stuff, sure.
Oh, I don't know. I was in Amish
don't know. I
country
mean, I'm not
once.
Amish, so I
Yeah,
don't
when I was a kid, I was there one time. And we were like, ooh.
When we first got there in, I want to say it was 05, like I was driving on the highway and then you get off and then I saw like a horse and carriage. And I was
Clop,
like,
clop, clop, clop.
I literally said to myself, what the fuck? I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, really? No way. And then through the years, like we left in like what, 2021, I never saw another one unless you're in that area, like where they live. You can't have one of those on the interstate.
There should be a TV show, When the Amish Attack. Because it's coming, watch.
Well, didn't they have the Amish Mafia one, whatever that fuck was? I never watched
Oh,
it.
yeah,
but
no,
some,
yeah,
some
yeah.
bullshit. I know, a reality show about the Amish, boy. That sounds like something I want to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah, churning
the
butter.
tough Amish, right.
growing up, God, you know, growing up Amish. Jebediah, come here.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, well,
you go.
that's it.
And I was trying to think of a rebuttal, and like another story, I guess a Florida story. I have nothing for you. Nothing.
I'll collect a bunch of them, don't worry.
It's a good idea because, again, like I said, I mean, if we could go on for days with it.
Yeah, that they only talk about it for a minute. They just basically explain
Yeah,
it. But,
they're
you know,
like
we
hot
can go
take
into more
stories.
detail and actually talk about it.
Because no one really wants to know the rest of it. Like, you don't care. It's just the fact that it happened. And then you could pick that out about anything around. But, yeah. All right, nice. There you go.
Well, thank you all for joining our Amish asses.
I don't even know what we're going to call this episode. The Today in Florida.
You know, what did it start with?
I don't know.
Nah,
It's a
whatever.
Florida story.
Yeah, I'll listen to it again. Oh, yeah, that's right, wasn't it?
So-
yeah, that's right. Yeah, with the girl with the
Stories
calling the police.
Stories from Florida.
Yep, lying 18-year-old women. All right, well, hey, you guys have a great night. Thank you
All
for
right,
listening
thanks
to
for
us.
listening to A Lifetime of Conversations, and we will see you next time.
Peace out.